Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Alright, so today we are going to look at the pseudo-legendary of the main series, known as Dragonite. Now, personally, it's one of my friend's favorite mons. Actually, it's a lot of my friend's favorite mons. For one, two things. One, it's cute, it's cuddly, and if you ever play in the main game, it really kills everything and kicks a lot of butt. Same thing for Pokemon Go. Dragonite is very powerful for Pokemon Go, and for PvP, it is a monster. It is one of the strongest mods in PvP if you look at Master League, and if you play it in the right team, you can. It has so much use. In Season 1, it was used widely. Dragon Claw and Outrage is a wonderful moveset. You even have to play with Hurricane. The question is, Premier Cup is coming, and that means no legendaries. So how does Dragonite stack up against the Premier Cup meta? We're about to find out in a few. Actually, in a few moments. So here we have Dragonite. Now, Dragonite's really interesting because it's a cute and fluffy. Well, it's not really fluffy. Its shiny version's also called Puff the Magic Dragon. It's number 149. It's one of the OG pseudo legendaries. It is a beast. It's a favorite of many. One of the favorites of mine. It's definitely one of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon. It is incredibly cute. It's incredibly cuddly. And if you don't be careful, it will wreck you in all ways, shape, and form. So Dragonite is really interesting for Premier Cup. It's a dragon flying type Pokemon. So it has a very unique typing and moveset where it's one of the strongest mons in the game, honestly. Its Dragon Breath does so much damage and Dragonite has really high stats. As you see here, it maxes out at 3,792 for CP. It has high attack and stamina, and its defense is pretty high. It's not super high. It's not super high compared to some other mons, but it's pretty up there. Dragonite is one of the most powerful Pokemon in all of Pokemon Go. It's also one of the most powerful mons in any league. In Great League, and Ultra League, it doesn't. It has some use if you build the right team around it, but for Master League in particular, especially Premier League, it is a force to be reckoned with because of how strong it is. As you see over here, Dragonite has a lot of resistances. It resists grass, it resists ground, it will wall grass and ground types, which is very, very good. It also resists bug, fighting, fire, and water. These other types you'll see very prominent. You will see fire, you will see water you will see fire and you will see water, you will see fighting, you will see bug in a lot of different leagues. And now its weaknesses are pretty interesting, as dragon is weak against dragon itself. Fairy is where it's kind of dangerous because Togekiss in Premier League might come around and try to kill you. Ice does double the weakness damage, so you take a heavy amount of damage from ice. So all those Piloswines or Glaceons that everyone has ready for Premier League, it's going to hurt a lot. And Rock is super effective as well. Rock is something you might want to look out for because Rhyperior has some use in Premier League. If people start using Rhyperiors and they get Rock Wrecker on you, Dragonite will take a huge hit and it'll take a huge chunk of damage. So Dragonite is very, very powerful, as you see overall. Very many resistances. As far as Premier League goes, for specific typings, Togekiss is going to hate you. Opposing Dragonites as well as Garchomp's Outrage will OKO a Dragonite. However, you do have those resistances against ground and grass. So here's the thing about Dragonite. Dragonite has a very extensive moveset. As you see here, as Dragon Breath, Outrage, Draco Meteor, Hurricane, and Dragon Claw. Now, there could be some debate of what you want for Premier League because the recommended moveset is Dragon Breath and Hurricane. Hurricane gives you interesting coverage because it does neutral damage against things like Togekiss. You'll do neutral damage against things like, let's see, Togekiss. What else is another mon you might encounter? Togekiss. If someone happens to be a madman and running grass in Premier League, like the Ferrothorn or something like that, or something just like extra spicy, Hurricane can do that, can take that extra type. It also gets stabbed, so Hurricane is a very good move, along with Dragon Breath. Now, you also have Outrage. Outrage is pretty much the substandard moveset. You never want Draco Meteor. It takes way too long to get to. It does an amazing amount of damage, but takes too long to get to. And because things in Master League do so much damage, or Premier League, you don't want Draco Meteor. You want Outrage. Outrage makes Dragonite really, really good, and Outrage does the job for most matchups anyways. As long as you hit that outrage, it will kill and you will get wrecked. Now you can use Dragon Claw for bait potential. So the really interesting about Premier Cup is that you have those like bait moves versus those heavy hitters. I It's up to you. In my opinion, Outreach Hurricane, just because you do get those, if you can land those moves. However, Dragon Claw is out there. Dragon Claw is a great bait move, and it can get you that last second KO damage you need for something that's really weak as a closer. Now, the thing about Dragonite is nowadays Dratinis are kind of rare. So if you're starting out to Pokemon Go, or if you haven't been grinding a lot, you might not have a Dragonite ready. It's because we're all the way out to like Generation 5 in Season 2 GBL. A Dragonite might not be in your hands. Also, Shadow Dragonite is a very interesting mon to use Premier as well. However, I don't know if I'd recommend Shadow Dragonite just because everything in Premier League already does so much damage. We'll explore and see how viable Shadows really are, but then, like I said, as far as availability and how expensive it is, if you played Pokemon Go for a long time, you guys got those Hundo Dragonites or those really good Dragonites ready for battle. Alright, now let's analyze PvPoke.com Dragonite style. Let's go. Alright, here's our PvPoke.com analysis. Such a great website. Again, if you would like to, please consider contributing to the to Patreon or GitHub right here. So many people support this website. It's helped me so much. The creator, Kakuna Matata, is a great human being. He's amazing. Y'all should totally consider thinking about donating. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go into the rankings and we're going to go to Premier League. So the great thing about this website, we can look up rankings from everything. And this is what I use a lot to analyze like leagues, etc., 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 and just matchups. So as you see here, the overall for Premier Cup, Dragonite ranks at number 5 overall. Very powerful. That and its shadow cousin, its dark side, the dark side of the force, which is Shadow Dragonite. It's still very powerful. Now, Dragonite has a lot of great key wins. It beats Garchomp. It's very strong against Garchomp, actually. It blasts it to death with Dragon Breath, and Outrage does heavy damage against Garchomp. You will die very, very quickly. It also beats Swampert. Interesting enough, it also beats Mamoswine. Now, I think it beats Mamoswine mostly because it does so much damage with Dragon Breath and Dragon Claw. Oh, actually, Dragon Claw Hurricane is the move here. Very interesting. So I take it back from the regular analysis back on the Go Hub. Dragon Claw Hurricane is a great moveset. I think Dragon Claw is because of its that bait move. You get that bait, that great bait you get against with Mamoswine. You beat Gyarados, Snorlax, Garchomp again, and then Swampert. Swampert I can see being used a lot because it's very powerful and very fast in Premier League. Take out the legendaries and Swampert can go to town. As you see, you do have key losses against the Togekiss Metagross core over here. You also lose against Tyranitar, and remember where like Magnezone, I did a video on Magnezone before. Magnezone will wreck you if it gets that wall charge in. Now, as you see here, you want Dragon Claw Hurricane. Dragon Claw is for that bait move. If you see the Premier Cup, if we measure it against all of its matchups, as you see here, it's very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. If we go down and we scroll down to its great matchups, as you see here, what? Oh my gosh, hold on. You do win against several things, like against several Master League matchups. Obviously, you're going to die very quickly against Ice types. That's why Glaceon rates so high. However, for most of everything else, for example, Shadow, you even beat Magnezone, which is really surprising. I'm assuming you beat Magnezone because of the bait scenario, but it's very bad to get its steal against Dragon anyways, but you still have a very strong matchup, as you see over here. It beats a lot of things in the Master League meta. It's very, very powerful, as you see here. 87.9%. Very good in the one shield. If we measure the two shield matchups with this moveset, it also does heavy damage. As you see here, poof. 87.2 in the two shield scenario. So the percentile doesn't change at all. As you see here, anything above 60 is my standard. Or 55, depending on like how it matches up or like it works with my team. As you see here, over 80% is monstrous. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's incredible. So Dragonite is very, very strong with Dragon Claw and Hurricane, as you see over here. Now, if you decide to run Outrage, hypothetically, let's see if you decide to run Outrage into twos, in the two shields, we get the twos and the twos. How about the ones? so we're gonna do the ones first in Premier Cup. Dreadclaw Outrage. 89.2, so you still have a very good matchup against a lot of things. We're gonna try 2 shields again with this one. It's still very strong. So Dragonclaw Outrage Hurricane Dragonclaw is very strong. I'd recommend Dragonclaw Hurricane though because of the coverage. Like with Dragonclaw spam and the Dragonclaw Dragon Breath damage, that usually will do the trick. However, if you have Hurricane, Hurricane does give you more coverage. So now we're gonna analyze Dragonite in the Premier Cup in every position. Now I do this a lot because it really shows you like, hey, what's the best use? Where does my mon plays best in when I use it? So we get Dragonite overall is very powerful. In the lead, Dragonite ranks at top 3. It's very, very good. As you see here, it still beats the same matches like we did before, but as a lead, Dragonite's very strong. Along with that, if you win the lead, Dragonclaw and Hurricane has a lot of bait potential. Just be very careful of Togekiss. Togekiss is I can see Togekiss running rapid a lot. Just be careful of Togekiss. As you see, Shadow Dragonite also has some use here. Regular Dragonite, because of the bulk, I think it would be better though. So if you're considering in the lead, regular Dragonite does better. As you see in the closer scenario, Shadow's a little better. That's just because of the Shadow damage, but there's not much of a difference. As you see here in the closer scenario, your key losses will be against Metagross and Togekiss. Rhyperior, just because if they get one Rock Wrecker and you're dead, and Rhyperior is thick enough to where it can survive Dragonclaw and Outrage, even if you did Outrage versus Hurricane, it can survive and it will get a Rock Wrecker and you will lose. However, as you see here, because of its such strong damage, it still has very strong matchups against a lot of things like Swampert, Metagross. I mean, not Metagross, Swampert, Salamence, etc. And now we go on to the switches. Now, when you like your switching, you get that extra flavor. You want to switch in, and then you want to be safe. Unfortunately, you don't want Dragonite as a switch. As you see, it rates 66. Its Shadow version is even worse, I believe. You do not want to use Dragonite as a safe switch. Dragonite functions great in the lead because of Dragonclaw Hurricane, because of that bait potential. However, that's just what it is. Don't use Dragonite as a switch. Use it in the lead. The concern about Dragonite 2 is that your number 1 lead is Togekiss. Togekiss is very powerful, so if you do use Dragonite, just be very aware that you might need to juggle around Togekisses, especially if in the meta Togekiss is very, very common. Togekiss was out in Gen 2. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have good Togekisses for for Master League and Premier Cup, just because hatching Togepi's was very common back in the day. And there's a very good chance you got a 98 or Hundo. So, as you see here, Dragonite does very well in the lead. It does very great as an attacker because of its heavy damage. It's also consistent. It's consistent as well. As you see, Dragonite rates at number 97. I mean, not 87, 87. So it's consistent, but just be careful. It's a cheap option, and it can be really good, but its only position is in the lead. So to be honest with you, Dragonite has use, but it's not extremely vital. It's not like game breaking. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start doing I'll do 3 practice battles with Dragonite. This is a great resource, like I said in my previous videos. This training simulator is your best friend. Everything is to the T. The AI is very good, and it will wreck you if you are not careful. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Dragonite. We're going to do the Premier Cup. We'll do Dragonite in the lead, and we'll give it the Hurricane. We're going to give it Hurricane. let's do Metagross. I like doing Metagross as a safe switch because it's the best safe switch in my opinion, unless you have Shadow Snorlax. So we have Dragonite, Metagross, and then let's see, for a closer, let's do Magnezone. Just hypothetical. Actually, let's do Togekiss as a closer. I like the Togekiss Metagross core, very, very powerful, very strong, works in a lot of teams, so I want to use this. So we'll do this battle. So we get the battle on, we get Dragonite versus Snorlax. Now, we win this matchup, so this is great. We might see my opponent switch here. He does, in fact, switch into the Metagross. We're going to gather a little bit of energy here, and then I'll switch into my Metagross too. Because in this scenario, Metagross is just going to mash us to death. We're just going to mash it. Metagross does have energy advantage here, however, we want to break shields. As you see, I do get Meteor Mash. You can survive 2 Meteor Mashes. My hope is we can break both shields here. It'd be great to break both shields here and then send in Dragonite just to hopefully burn it down. Or we'll just mash shield tier. Beautiful. We grab a shield. I'm hoping to grab that second shield. I will take this to the zeros and then just have the shield up. This is not really a great position, but I'd rather be in this scenario. I'd rather break both shields here. Because we have Togekiss in the back, we have Dragonite with energy. So we still have a lot of play here, boys. We're good. We're Gucci. We're Gooch. We're Lagooch. That or I can take out this Metagross and win switch. We have two options. I might like with energy with this, we have shield advantage here, and then he's gonna throw his. I'll shield here. I'd like to win this matchup just because the other two Mons I have aren't particularly strong as Metagross, and we will get Meteor Mash off anyways, unless opponent elects to switch. Here we go. Boom. All right, so we got the switch. Perfect. We win. We won switch. I don't know if this should KO. Beautiful. All right, Meteor Mash does KO. We win switch, and now we're gonna get licked to death. That's perfectly fine because we have Dragonite with energy. Now my opponent might elect to switch out here. He does not, so we're just gonna Dragon Claw you to death. Dragon Claw plus Dragon Breath damage is very, very annoying. Does very well. We can use Hurricane, but there's no real need to, just because as you see, Hurricane takes forever to get to you, and we get stabbed with Dragon Claw anyways. We want to do as much chip damage as possible. Here's the thing, we don't have shields. So we don't have shields, and we have Togekiss in the back. That's the problem here. Because of that, we don't know whether or not they have a Magnezone, if it's a Garchomp. If it's a Garchomp, this is great. My opponent does not know I have Togekiss. We're just going to Dragon Breath down here. I should be able to eat this Body Slam. And then I could just Dragon Breath down. And then we can save all that energy for what's in the closer. Hopefully we don't have anything that's going to particularly wreck us in the closer. Here we go. Boop, be perfect. And now fire the Dragon Claw right away. We get a Togekiss, which is kind of bad. I didn't manage to get the Dragon Claw off because I didn't click right away. That's okay. We have, that Togekiss has energy advantage, so it's kind of scary. All I'm going to do is just wait here and just fire Ancient Power at the last second. Actually, I'm just going to fire it right away. There's their Ancient Power. We got a little bit of chip damage in, so we should be able to... Oh, this is very close. This should KO, I hope. Does it kill? It does. GG's. So because we got that little bit of chip damage in, we win, and Dragonite took that hit. So just turn-wise, we won. As you saw there, that close-up matchup was kind of scary. I should have hit Dragon Claw, to be honest with you, but it just didn't go off. But we still managed to win. As you see here, Dragonite in the lead. Very, very powerful. So we go on to the second match. First match was good. This is where it's horrible. Dragonite versus Togekiss. We need to get out of here immediately. I'm going to switch into Metagross. And we get a Swampert, of course. Now, this really sucks because Swampert is very strong against Metagross. So now we have... I'm pretty much just going to sack Metagross at this point, unfortunately. I'm going to build up to an Earthquake and fire Meteor Mash. Hopefully we can break that shield. Hopefully we grab that shield. We need these shields. These shields we need to be. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. We're going to hopefully grab 2 shields here. I want to take this to the zeros. If I can't get it to the zeros, that's fine. Because this thing's going to get another Hydro Cannon. So I'm going to save both of my shields here. I could shield here and then force the second shield off. However, that's okay. We need to basically... Now we can send in Dragonite. Dragonite has a very strong matchup against Togekiss. I mean, not Togekiss, against Swampert. If it's against Togekiss, we're dying. That's what we're trying to avoid. We wall Swampert here, so this is okay. So we're going to wall our Swampert. We don't need to shield anything. I'm going to gather as much energy as humanly possible. They switch into Metagross. This is really bad because, yeah, this is actually GG's. There's not a lot we can do in this scenario. I'm going to sack Dragonite and try to break a shield here. I doubt we're going to get a shield. There's no reason for Metagross to shield anything. Okay, they shield. Okay, perfect. That's great. Okay, that's good. That's good. It's good. Because they don't know what we have in the back. So that's actually really good. I'm going to have Metagross forced to use its energy here. Yes, we're going to die. And yeah, we Bullet Punch does heavy damage. But we really don't have a choice. I need both of my shields for Togekiss. Togekiss can get to the Flamethrower, but Togekiss is going to have to sweep this entire competition here, which is actually really bad. As you see, Bullet Punch does heavy damage. And this is kind of GG's already. Even if I used my shields before, the fact that we got hard countered super hard. Unless I get a boost, I'm going to attempt to hit the... I'm going to hit the Ancient Power here. Okay, we get... Yeah, I'm going to attempt to hit Ancient Power here. If we get the boost, we might have a chance. Come on, boost. Boost me. Boost me. Lord Bidoof, boost me. We don't get the boost. Okay, now we're dead. So now what's going to happen is just Togekiss is just going to charm us down. As you saw there, Dragonite loses heavily against Togekiss, so it would be very careful. Be very careful. We lost with the shield next in the next match, but that's what it is. And then we get a Swampert into a Dragonite for the third final battle. This is great because we win this lead. They switch into the Togekiss. I'm going to switch right away into Metagross because there's no reason for us to stay in this matchup. I am just going to farm down. Actually, I'm gonna gather a little bit of energy here, and then I'm gonna fire this Mirror Match. There's no reason for us to use Bullet Punch because we will definitely be able. We'll go over 100 energy. This Mirror Match should kill this Togekiss. That does. They sack Togekiss. We have a huge advantage at this point. We have Metagross with energy. We took out the Togekiss, our Dragonite's biggest threat. What do they have in the back? It's a Typhlosion. Okay. Now, oh no, I should have fired. This is okay. There's no reason for me to shield here. This is a Blast Burn. This will kill. But this Typhlosion's energy dry. We have a Dragonite, and we have a Dragonite, and we have a Togekiss. We're okay. And our opponent had to give us a switch here. Dragonite, Dragon Breaths do so much damage that this poor Typhlosion is just gonna get wrecked. Unfortunately, we beat Swampert with Togekiss. We also beat it with Dragonite. We are good. We are golden in this scenario. As you see here, it's like our opponent doesn't even like to shield. We wall Swampert too, unless Swampert's carrying Sludge Wave, which I can see being a viable option I can see it being a very viable option in Premier Cup because you can take out the Togekisses and you kind of want a Hydro Cannon anyways. There's no, unless it's like a closing scenario, you're going to not to nuke that, to nuke steals. Like Sludge Wave just has so much viability. We'll cover that later though. As you see here, there's no reason for us to shield anything. I can just literally not shield anything at this point and still win. So because Dragonite's able to wall all these Hydro Cannons, our opponent does have Earthquake, so it's perfectly fine. As you see here, Dragon Breath does heavy damage, and we do resist these mud shots. We are in a great situation right now. Dragon Claws will chunk. I can expect Swampert to try to block at one point. So all we're going to do is just literally we're just going to shield these opposing... We're going to... Actually, yeah, we're just going to shield these opposing Hydro Cannons. Gather all this energy, Dragon Claw Typhlosion in the back, and that's going to be GG. And then we take out Swampert, and now we're just going to take out this poor little Typhlosion that has barely any HP left. You will get wrecked, and you will tighten up and lose. GG's AI. So, as you saw there, Dragonite very powerful in the lead. If you win the lead, you get such an enormous advantage. We never even had to use Togekiss in that entire battle. We countered Togekiss with Metagross, and Dragonite took out the rest. As you see, Dragonite is very, very, very powerful. Very good and very powerful. Alright, so on our summary, it looks like the key takeaways is you lead with Dragonite. Dragonite is very powerful in the lead if you win the lead. And as you see here, Dragon Claw and Hurricane seems to be the way to go. Dragon Claw gives you bait potential. It's also very spammy. That plus the Dragon Breath damage will pretty much close out most matchups, so you don't really need Outrage. Hurricane gives you that extra damage. If we do see fighters like Machamp and Conkeldurr start going around, Hurricane will do heavy damage. And regular Dragonite seems to be better than the Shadow. As we saw the analysis, Shadow is actually worse in Premier Cup. And I can see why, because of bulk. And if regular Dragonite sees Togekiss, you're gonna die pretty quickly. The extra Shadow damage is nice. I don't see it as necessary though, because Dragon Breath already does so much damage, Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, that regular Dragonite will do it. If you have a Shadow, I don't see anything wrong with using the Shadow. Just practice with it and be very careful, because you might get wrecked. Shadow looks nice and it's very expensive if you do have one, and if it's a hundo, I'm hella jelly, and it can be very powerful. Just make sure you practice and train with it and see how it does. Any extra notes? If you see Togekiss, get the hell out of there and switch. Don't even think about it, you know? Just fucking do it, please. Just fucking do it. Just do it. It's that bad. Get out of there. Especially if you have Shadow, Togekiss will do so much damage to you. You die. Even if you can happen to get that last minute Hurricane on Togekiss, that's great. But most of the time, Togekiss will wreck you. So just get out of there if you see Togekiss as much as possible. Again, use Dragonite in the lead. If you win the lead, it's great. If you can realign and if you practice with it, it can be very powerful, as you saw in The Sims. Please like and subscribe. If there's anything you want me to analyze, please put it in the comments. I'll definitely take a look at it and see what I can do. But as you see, Dragonite is a force to be reckoned with. Alright, you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll see you on the next one.